It's the Lee Company Titans Talkback. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical problems, and they can protect your home too. Your next play, visit leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. It is the new look Titans Talkback presented by Lee Company. We have Dr. Dyson, of course, across from me. How you doing?
I'm doing well,
It's
man.
been a long time.
Been a long time since last time we were talking about how terrible they were.
Right.
Got the first pick, and we got to see them in action today.
And listen, there's plenty of bad if we want to just relive the glory days and just talk Tim Boyle for the next half hour. We can do it. I mean, we can do it. We got Stoney Keeley, co-host of football. No, we are not doing that anymore.
Or that's dead. That's done after tonight.
It lasted 2 days.
0.6 passer rating will do it then.
0.6 passer rating. But guess what? Tennessee Titans have actually some competent quarterback play we can talk about. Kevin Dyson, we got to see the good and the bad, and sometimes the bad leads to more good. Yeah. And with Cam Ward, we saw a quarterback that had a 3-and-out. Couple rookie mistakes. He even talked about it himself in his post-game presser, but he was able to bounce back from it, was able to overcome a 1st-and-10 holding penalty that put him back in the 1st-and-20 with an answer directly with a 10-yard pass. Talk about what you saw from Cam Ward today.
I thought he didn't get up. I mean, the 3-and-out first quarter, then you're sitting there pretty much the rest of the quarter, not a whole lot of rhythm going in the beginning of the game. To come back out that second drive, settle down. Maybe his nerves a little bit in that first drive. Maybe go 3-and-out. But he come back in his second drive and just settled in. And one thing he talked about in his presser was getting behind the chains, but still being able to accomplish it and move the ball a little bit. The competence of him and his confidence and the competence of his offense and skill set, man, it's shining through. I think the kid has potential to be really good. And I've heard people say this. I said this last year. He reminds me of Mac in his demeanor, but I don't want to get too far ahead because Mac had to play, you know what I mean, to become who he was. Right. And I think Cam has a lot of the same thing. He's built a little bit the same, but he still got to play. Still got to get out there and play. But it's exciting. I think this is an exciting time, more so than when we were talking about Mariota when he came in. This is just like we might have the quarterback of the future finally.
Well, I don't know if you've been out of practice, but I've been out of practice a few times, and he just has that it factor about him. Every time he speaks, every time you see him on the field, especially even tonight, you're just like that. Once you saw him complete that first pass in the second drive, you're like, okay, well, they're going down here and scoring a touchdown. Like he's got that it factor to him that the Tennessee Titans have lacked for even a few years. And look, I like Ryan Tannehill, and we all appreciate what Ryan Tannehill did for during his time here, minus the Cincinnati Bengals game. But for the most part, I mean, this is a new look Tennessee Titans team, and he even said, look, I got to get the ball out fast. I got to get the pace of play up. Brian Callahan's in my ear, and he's getting the play out quick. I got to get it out, got to get us to the line. But he said, he saw Ridley and Lockett. He probably should have gone there, but he bailed on that pocket early, and it kind of put him in a bad predicament, even though the offensive line was holding up, and the offensive line held up pretty well through all three stages.
Yeah. I think for me, what I like about Cam is, and I'll say this about Levis too, he takes ownership. I can still get better. I can still get better. And everybody's talking about his work ethic. That's being documented, and everybody's kind of going in on that because he gets there early, and it's just something he just always done based on what his father had kind of instilled in him. But as long as he has that ability and that mindset of growth and continue to watch film and get better and take the good with the bad and say, yeah, that was good. However, if I'd have got this out a little quicker, he might be on the run a little bit more. Instead of a 15-yard game, might be a 25-yard game, things of that nature. As long as he's doing stuff like that, man, I think guys will start. And you see it already. Yeah. They're rallying around him. They love him. And he's got that locker room. And that quick, this is his first time in the uniform, technically. And he's already got that locker room. It's going to be special. I venture to say this is what Jaden Daniels and Stroud had when they came in and had such successful rookie years. And Caleb Williams took him a little bit to get going last year, but similar, but he had to earn his on the field. But I think like Jaden Daniels and Stroud just kind of, they came in and they started from day one, playoff teams, rookie of the year. and just everybody just surrounding him, the city, the team, and everybody. And that's what he has that makeup of.
Yeah.
I think it's seeing the traits go from the practice field to a real game setting that was really encouraging as well, because things we've heard about Cam Ward all summer long, that he's accountable for his mistakes.
Right.
They don't sit well with him. He's driven to improve upon them the next time he's out on the field, and that the team is kind of growing to really rally around the guy. And I think that 3 and out did not sit well with him. I was watching the game thinking, like, this is not how this night is going to go. And then the second drive happens in response to that. You heard the accountability in the press conference, him talking about things that he has to get better about. And then already being the teammate, you and I were freaking out watching the game live in the fourth quarter, I think it was, when the Titans get a turnover and everybody's celebrating, and you look up and Cam Ward, still with his pads on, late in this game, is down there by the huddle celebrating with his teammates. Like, that was one of the most encouraging things to me, aside from the play on the field, was just seeing these things that we've heard about him all summer long translating from practices to the field in a game setting.
Yeah, to me, it was that moment is kind of the perfect way to describe someone that hasn't maybe been paying attention to Cam Ward so far this offseason. He is out there making sure that the Tennessee Titans came away with the ball. Like, he's out there while the refs are still deciding, just kind of looking and out there. That's and props to Davion Ross for the peanut punch, by the way, University of Memphis grad, my alma mater. But at the end of the day, that's what Cam Ward is. And even when they showed him on the sidelines, he's engaged. He's also kind of joking around and talking with Big Jeff. And that kind of relationship that they have been building is also good for the team, because you got your offensive leader and your defensive leader communicating, having fun, and all that kind of stuff. And you didn't really see a lot of that last year. And it's been even under Mike Vrabel with Ryan Tannehill, it just felt a little bit more segregated between offense and defense. And Brian Callahan's big offseason theme has been connectedness, like connecting with each other. And I think that's paying dividends in most of these parts.
You know, another thing, too, was talking about the Callahan-Ward relationship. I don't get a sense that he's handcuffing him at all. I feel like he's doing what the plays are, the playbook, how it is. He's unfolding it in whatever manner that it is. How much can he digest? It seems like, he's got this. Let's pile more on. It seems like he's just taking it all in and being able to regurgitate the information back out. And I think that is impressive and encouraging. And I don't know if we've always had that. Again, it's not knocking on Will Levis, but I don't know if we had that with Will Levis last year.
Well, we were talking about, did they put too much on his plate to begin with? And maybe they should have slowly added stuff. And listen, there's different approaches for different quarterbacks.
Right.
But I think you're right in the sense of this, I guess, symbiotic relationship between Brian Callahan and Cam Ward is paying dividends, because not only what you're talking about, how they're making it hard and how he's being able to take that on and respond, but the other day when Cam Ward had his press conference before they went to, after the Tampa Bay joint practices, and he regurgitated some of it today with, playing above the sticks. How many times did Brian Callahan almost use that exact phrasing last year? And everything that he has said is pretty much echoed what Brian Callahan tried to get done last year.
Yeah. And I think you're seeing the positive impact of that on that second drive. What Cam Ward did, decisive throwing the football, the timing, the ball was out quick. He was going through reads, getting the ball where it needed to be to make a play. And something that you and I have talked about on Football and Other F Words, Zach, is this formula. Better protection plus more stable quarterback play kind of unlocks this scheme. If you can get to that point, if you can get those two things with this scheme, guys are wide open. And we saw that tonight. The protection was fantastic. Pass pro was awesome. Cam had time to make plays, and he made them. And this symbiosis, if you will, together, to me, is the key to unlocking this offense. And I think we saw a little bit of that tonight on that second drive.
Yeah, he seems to have a nice little rapport with Ridley, too. Just in the practices that I have been able to get to. And then tonight, you saw the big play. Lockett's I think is going to be a safety blanket for him as well. But to see him with the veteran receivers right now, guys that he feel like he can trust and rely on, that's been pretty special to watch. Him and Ridley seem to have good rapport. I think Ridley might end up with a pretty phenomenal year.
I've been telling people
fantasy football. Like if you're big into fantasy football, I'm targeting Calvin Ridley.
His stock's
for sure.
going to be down a little bit.
I also look at it this way: this report that you're talking about. I mean, okay, while all the other wide receivers are going through doing their ladder drills and stuff, they typically have Van Jefferson, Tyler Lockett, and Calvin Ridley, but mainly just Calvin Ridley for most part catching passes to Cam Ward while they're doing the positional drills.
Yeah.
And I think that goes to trying to build that chemistry, because last year, how many times were we talking in the offseason is like, oh, the chemistry will be there between Will Levis and Calvin Ridley. It will get there. Don't worry. And they kept telling us that too, and it just never happened. But I'll tell you one thing, Fusion Site is the Titans provider of the top-of-the-line VIP restroom trailer and roll-off dumpster needs. Fusion Site, Nashville's MVP. Visit fusionsite.com to learn more. Of course, is the Lee Company Titans Talkback. All you need is Lee Company. Visit them at leecompany.com. They're available 24/7. Put Lee Company on your team to tackle your home's heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical problems. Schedule online at leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. The Calvin Ridley play, a big sticking point was like, oh, well, kind of everything went right for Cam Ward, but this goes back to the scheme discussion. The scheme, and also obviously the players executing the scheme, but Calvin Ridley getting open by 6 yards with 3 defenders on him and getting a perfect ball. I mean, that's what we were kind of missing last year, is being able to have a quarterback that could take advantage of that spacing and get the ball right where it needs to go to the wide receiver. I mean, how important is this relationship between Calvin Ridley and Cam Ward to the whole success of this team?
Well, there's a trust factor, right? There's that rapport equates trust. And I think to your point about the drills and pulling them aside, there's a trust that comes with that. I know this man's body language. I know where I can put this football. I have trusted if I make a bad throw, he's going to make this play. He had that with Xavier, how you say the man's name? Restrepo. Sorry, I remember butchering that man's name. High with names. But he had that in Miami with him. And that's where he got him. That was a guy he knew if chips were down, I'm going to him. He's going to make me a play. And I think they're building that with him and Cam Ridley. And they're just starting to, hey, pull aside. Let's work on this route. This got this double move route, this long route. Let's get the timing down. And you see that. So again, we're only in preseason 1. Yeah. So I'm getting excited. But at the same time, we saw that a little bit today. And I think, the protection was nice. I was like, he's holding his ball awfully long time. What's he waiting on? And then like you said, Cam Reed's wide open. I was like, okay, that's what he's waiting on. He's waiting on his man. And so long as they can continue to build that rapport, do the things on the side, little drills and things, and let me see your body language, how you tilt your shoulders when you're about to make a cut. I can put it here. They can have a pretty phenomenal year.
Yeah, we're going to talk more about Cam Ward and Calvin Ridley when we come back just after the break. We're going to take a quick short break. This is the Lee Company Titans Talkback right here on 104.5 The Zone. It's the Lee Company Titans Talkback. Tennessee Titans lose to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 29-7. Kevin Dyson, Stoney Keeley, and Zach Lyons here to get you through the next 10 minutes of Titans Talkback here. But Lee Company, all you need, visit them online at leecompany.com. Titans trust their home stadium to Lee Company to tackle their heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and electrical problems, and they can protect your home too. Your next play, visit leecompany.com. Lee Company, all you need. Kroger is set to check out today's final sack number. Titans edge rusher Jihad Ward had one sack today, adding $100 to Kroger's donation to Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee. Every time the Titans sack the opposing team's quarterback, Kroger donates $100 to Second Harvest Food Bank of Middle Tennessee from Kroger. Through its Zero Hunger, Zero Waste plan, Kroger is committed to creating communities free of hunger and waste. Kroger's official tailgate headquarters of the Tennessee Titans. Try Boost by Kroger Plus for free pickup and delivery, plus 2 times the fuel points with your membership. Start your free trial today at Kroger.com. Pay as low as 1 cent per gallon when you redeem full fuel points by using your shopper's card. Every 100 points gets you 10 cents off per gallon. Exclusions apply. Visit Kroger.com for details. Real quick, since we're talking about sacks, we can go over to the defense. Here's my main takeaway from the Tennessee Titans defense and really this whole team. The starting 11 in each unit, please stay healthy because the depth is very, very bad on this team. And listen, the chat, the F&M Bank chat on Zone TV, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live, they're not even talking about Cam Ward. They're only talking about Tim Boyle. That's how bad the depth is behind the Tennessee Titans. But I tell you what is not bad is James Williams and Cedric Gray. I think they both had outstanding games. Cam Horsley is another guy, undrafted free agent, and Isaiah Rakes. I thought they played a lot. What did you see from this defense, Kevin Dyson, that, kind of got you excited?
Well, I tell you what, I like Oladejo.
Yeah?
I think he's going to be a great addition to this team. I think he's just a high-energy guy, going to make a lot of plays. After that first 3-and-out, that 10, 11-minute drive, I was like, uh-oh, what's going on? But you start looking at guys that are being pulled out of there, and tasks just seem to be kind of picking them apart there a little bit. But they settled in, and then it became what the quarterbacks did, the pick six and all that kind of stuff, short fields, hard for any defense to be successful. So I'm going to give them kind of a pass on the evening because other than that big, long drive where you say, man, you got to get off the field. You can't allow a 11-minute drive at any point in the game. You got Cam Warson on the side, all that kind of stuff. Other than that, if it's not for the quarterback play or insufficient play, they played a pretty decent game. Right, they're behind the field because of the picks and things of that nature. So, I'm still the jury's still out for me with the defense after today. But that was bad. That let me drive. I was just the backup's backup. Not that Taz a backup, but you get what I'm saying. He looked like he was a Pro Bowl quarterback going down the field right through him.
He did. I was like, man, I wish we had a backup quarterback that looked like that. Stoney, what'd you think? I know you've been a big James Williams guy.
Yes,
What'd you see from James Williams, Cedric Gray at that linebacker position? Because a lot of people think the decision is done. It's James Williams' job, but I don't know. Cedric Gray seems to make a pretty compelling case.
They both played well. They both had 7 total tackles each in this game. They played a ton of snaps. I mean, them boys going to have to hit the ice bath or something. Like, I'm sore just watching them fly around all over the field.
They played the whole game.
Yeah. And James Williams setting the tone right off the bat on special teams, covering the entirety of the field and just throwing his body at homeboy like a missile, taking him out. But then also triggering, filling gaps, pursuing the runner, defending the flat. Like a lot of aspects that Denard Wilson's going to ask these linebackers to do in this defense. They checked those boxes tonight. And Cedric Gray, I think, deserves a specific round of applause as well, because I don't know that he had any of the splash plays that had people at home going, oh, like James Williams did. But, man, he was triggering, getting to the running backs, and defending the run pretty well, tackling well as well. So I was really stoked about the 2 young linebackers.
They talked about this on the TV today. I didn't realize how many former safeties are now playing linebacker and are so successful. Barton the Utah guy, go Utes. He was also one of those guys. You know, I mean,
Otis Reese was too.
Otis Reese, another.
And obviously Keith Bullock, but you know he's not playing today.
Yeah. And, what's his name? Warner down there in San Francisco. Like I didn't realize he was a safety. He played so well, had such a high level in that middle linebacker spot. You forget he was a safety, but it makes sense from the athleticism standpoint. Now, being in that box in close quarters and things happen the way they happen, you got to maneuver and dodge people, still make plays. I'm sure that takes some learning, but the athleticism obviously translates to their benefit.
This is the Lee Company Titans Talkback. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Stoney, what did you think of the offensive line's performance, all three phases? I mean, I guess phases, but through the fourth quarter.
Man, I really thought the starters played well. I mean, I thought you got to go back and watch the All-22 to really get a feel for how the offensive line really did. But just on the surface, man, it felt like they clicked into a second gear on that second drive of the game, and the pass protection was great. At one point, Cam Ward hits his back foot to survey the field, and there's like nobody within 5 yards of him. I mean, it's protection unlike we've seen in quite some time. So you think if that translates to the regular season and these guys keep getting reps together, it's going to be a vastly improved unit.
That was one of the things you saw with Jaden Daniels is he had time to do what he wanted to do last year. And I'll tell you, and I talked about this last year with Latham being the left and that project. I was like, he's a natural right. And the people were like, we got to get a right tackle. I was like, no, move him back over there and find you a left. And they have seemingly have done that. Raiden's project seems to be done.
Yeah.
But there's some depth there. But I think that's the good news about this offense is the success of this offense is predicated on those five guys, and I don't know if they've had a consistent five guys the past 2 or 3 seasons, and this seems to be pretty good start to the year.
Well, yeah, I hate to break it to you guys, but that was it. That's all the time that we have.
Right,
I mean, isn't that crazy? I mean, that is the quickest Titans Talkback I've ever been a part of. Is this the quickest one you've ever had to go through?
It has to be. I mean, I feel like we just got on here.
We did. I mean, like we were able to cover, though, the quarterback play, the offensive scheme, the decisions, the offensive line, and a little bit of the defense. I mean, we covered a lot in that time. We're some fast talkers.
We can talk about the new punter.
Yeah.
Heck's a friend. Used to go with him, you know.
Well, that will do it for us. This is for Kevin Dyson, Stoney Keeley, and myself. I'm Zach Lyons. This has been the Lee Company Titans Talkback. Lee Company, all you need. Visit them online at leecompany.com. Titans radio coverage is produced by Joseph Bonanno, studio producer Justin Hawkins, studio host Lucas Panzica, promotion director Rich Ferris, director of sales Hunter Rice, general manager Allison Warren, operations manager Paul Mason, executive producer Rep Ryan. That will do it for us on Titans Talkback presented by Lee Company here on 104.5 The Zone.